Well, thanks everyone for coming. I think this is going to be it's important legislation. I think it'll make the road safer, and I'm happy to have signed it into law. I'm happy to take some questions from the press.
Governor, can you just say, have you learned anything more about the migrants that are going to Palm Beach and Broward counties? And can you give your thoughts on the Trump administration not giving anybody a heads up on that?
Well, yeah, so I mean, I have investigated, and I think that there's a reason why that was the case. I mean, look, we cannot accommodate in Florida just dumping unlawful migrants into our state. I think it'll tax our resources, the schools, the healthcare, law enforcement, state agencies. The legislature, at my urging, passed a bill outlawing sanctuary cities. And so we basically, as a state, said, we are going to work with the federal government constructively. We're going to work with them to help them, remove criminal aliens. We're not going to be like some of these other states that are not allowing, federal authorities to come into a jail or a courthouse. So we've been very cooperative. And I think to have this then put into certain communities here, I think is just something that we don't. So I am going to be addressing this. This was something that leaked out yesterday. I've had conversations, but we're going to have to do some more on this for sure. I have no reason to think it was, but I don't have enough information about it. As I said, this was not something that came down from the White House. This was something that came out of the agencies. And sometimes this stuff happens, and so it's going to ultimately be something I'm going to have to talk with the president about. And I don't think that this should happen in Florida, but understand that you're seeing at the border, that is a disaster created by the policies enacted by the Congress of the United States. This is a direct result of bad policy that's been implemented. I think that they should change the policy so that we're not in a situation where we're having to do this in the future. And I think that would go a long way. So we'll, we're going to obviously do work on this.
Is federal government paying for them housing down here?
So, well, so this is, first of all, nothing's concrete. There's been no migrants released in Florida from this whole problem. Not one migrant has been, according to the White House, where we talked to yesterday. So I just want to let people know that. I think if you believe what was leaked and reported, the plan would be to simply put migrants out on the street, basically, which would tax the resources. Now, there are other parts throughout the country where you will have what are called UACs, unaccompanied alien children, that will be put in a facility, and that's run by the federal government, by HHS. We don't have any responsibility for that. But my understanding is this would be potentially just releasing people into our society. And understand, when someone's just coming across the border, we have no idea, what their background is. We don't know what type of criminal activity they've been involved in. We don't know anything about anything. That's not how our immigration system works. I mean, for 120 years, when you came in, you were checked for health. You were checked for, are you going to be a public charge? All these different things, and that's how it's worked. So this would, I think, cause a lot of stress on our communities. Well, we have to go through, sign the bills that we're going to sign and veto the bills that we're not. As you know, I've signed a number of significant pieces of legislation. I did veto the preemption bill on the plastic straws, just because I think if communities want to do that, I don't think it impacts my agenda. We're going to do the budget. We're going through that right now, looking at all the various line items. I think the budget came in at $91.1 billion. When we sign it and get through the vetoes, it will be less than $91.1 billion. And so we're going through all that now. We just did, this week, we did the 33rd Annual Governor's Hurricane Conference in West Palm Beach, and I went for that. And we had just concluded a major exercise, and the exercise for this year was a Category 5 storm hitting in the Tampa Bay area. And that's a worst case scenario that we're trying to prepare for. Obviously, I don't want any hurricanes, but when you start doing that and you realize hurricane season's coming up, we obviously could potentially have issues if that happens. Now, hopefully, given that we've had hurricanes the last 3 years, I'm hoping that we get a respite. But that's something that we're going to be preparing for, and it's important.
Governor, what's your thinking in on the toll road bill? Environmental groups are urging you to veto it.
I think we need new roads in Florida to get around. It's a bill that I'll support and sign, particularly Southwest Florida into Central Florida. Right now, you have to go all the way around 75. It's not a good route. To have a more direct route there, I think would be good. Completing the Suncoast Parkway, I think would give another route to places like Tallahassee and Northwest Florida, particularly from Central Florida. And so I think that that's something that's good. We're probably going to need more than that, just given how our state's growing and just given that traffic can be a big problem. And so I I'm supportive of infrastructure.
Last question, Governor, back to immigration. Why do you think South Florida was selected as that site?
Well, so let me just say, the idea that South Florida was selected is something that leaked out. I'm not even sure that is fully the case. So I don't know, and I think you'll just have to ask the folks, whoever contacted the law enforcement and how that happened within the agencies. But bottom line is, it doesn't matter South Florida, Central Florida, Northeast Florida. Florida, we have a lot of fish to fry in our own state with our own citizens. I mean, we got 22 million people. We've had a good session with education funding. We've done a lot of good healthcare reforms. We did a lot on environment. And so we're really focused on using the resources we have to help the quality of life of Floridians, and to just be put on the hook for things that really are a result of the Congress's failure and failed policy at the federal level. That is not acceptable, and so we'll be leaning in whatever we need to do on this. But obviously, I'm sensitive to the fact that if you're elected sheriff of a county, you got elected by the citizens of your county, and that's who you're serving. You can't be expected to start serving thousands of other folks brought in unlawfully from a foreign country. So we want to just keep our eye on the ball, and let's try to make Florida as best as we can. Thank you, guys. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Shelly. Thank you for checking out our NBC6 South Florida YouTube channel. You want more videos like the kind you just watched? Click right here on the subscribe button below. Get the latest stories, interviews, caught on camera, and more. Digital exclusives as well, all for you. Subscribe now.